Hey everyone, I'm the Bearded Zeno,
No, I'm surprising often.
and today we're going to talk about the top 10 worst things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, also known as the MCU. And you might be saying to yourself, Zeno, it's kind of a perfect thing. What's so bad about it?
Well, we managed to find exactly 10 things wrong with the MCU, and we're going to talk about them.
So let's get things cracked with number 10. Number 10, they announced shit way too early.
Fuck yeah, they do. We know movies that are coming out in like 2019 for Phase 3.
Yeah, it completely takes the stakes out of the movie. Watching The Winter Soldier, you're like, oh no, is Captain America gonna die at the end? It kind of looks like he's going to. No, because we've already seen him on set on Age of Ultron.
And the same thing for Age of Ultron. We're not worried about these people dying because we know they have to be back for Civil War.
Exactly. We know most of them got to survive all the way up to Infinity War, and that's what makes Infinity War so special, because we know that's the end. We know people might actually, be in some kind of peril.
9 is not enough practical effects. Now, if I learned anything from watching Mad Max Fury Road, it's that practical effects can make a movie a million times better.
Yes. There's nothing quite like watching a movie where you have CG Captain America Iron Man fighting CG robots on a CG helicarrier in a CG sky. It's nothing particularly bad, and this is a very nitpicky thing, but Fury Road was so fucking awesome! Number 8. Marvel sometimes takes way too much control over their films. Iron Man 2 and Age of Ultron, to be specific, they ran away Jon Favreau and Joss Whedon because of this tactic. I understand wanting to control your baby. I understand controlling a message. I understand trying to keep every film in line and not have one stick out. Incredible Hulk.
I understand they have the rights to them too. Like, most would argue they should do whatever they want. They need to let people who know what they're doing, know how to make movies, do what they need to do to make a good movie.
Yeah, don't neuter a director's vision just because, it doesn't exactly fit with our 10-year plan.
It's not like the comics.
Yeah, actually, if you can piss off Joss Whedon enough where he talks about going to be with DC just so he can have an actual vision for his director, that sucks. I really want to see Joss Whedon's Age of Ultron, and I want to see Jon Favreau's Iron Man 2, because we know both those were completely hammered by Marvel, and that sucks. It really sucks. For the most part, they do pretty good, but this is one where you really just need to let the reins slide a little bit there, Marvel.
Number 7 is they're too scared to go rated R. Now, understand that you need these movies to be PG-13 so you can have as many people coming in and paying to see the movie as possible, but these are pretty violent movies. We would all love to see a gory Marvel movie, but unfortunately that just can't happen because they're too scared to make their movies rated R.
However, the one caveat to this is Daredevil. Daredevil is absolutely an R-rated TV show, but they just won't go R-rated on the silver screen. It's awesome that we have Daredevil. I'm very thankful of it. I want R-rated Avengers, which, fun fact, Avengers was R-rated originally because Coulson's death scene. Number 6 is lack of consistent composers. Now, this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I love film scores. I love hearing a good heroic theme. What makes a good theme is you can hum it out in public and somebody's like, oh, I know what that is. The Empire's March. Indy's March, something else kind of March from John Williams. These awesome iconic themes, and there's only really one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is the Avengers theme. And it was only used sparingly in Age of Ultron, and that's because they brought Danny Elfman in. The lack of consistent composers allows for a lack of consistent themes. Every single movie has its own themes. Nothing is consistent. And there's nothing quite like walking into a film and having familiar music send goosebumps down your spine. It's such a great experience.
See, unlike you, I don't listen to the soundtrack, so I don't know what everyone's individual theme sounds like, and I don't think most people do either.
But when you hear Empire's March from Star Wars,
yeah,
you know it.
All of that.
You know it. You hear the Avengers theme, you're like, that's the Avengers, but you hear Captain America's theme from the first Avenger, you're like, is this from a World War II movie?
Number 5 is the recasting of characters. The main ones I can think of are Rhodey from Iron Man, and of course Bruce Banner from Incredible Hulk. And in the MCU, I think they want us to one day marathon all these movies and know exactly what's going on, and nothing would break the immersion more than different people playing the same characters when you're trying to watch a bunch of movies back to back to back.
Yeah. If you think about it, we've only had Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk in 2 consecutive movies, Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron.
That's it.
And that sucks. That's one thing I hated going in, they recast the Hulk. What the fuck is up with this? I don't know this guy. And of course, Rhodey. It took me all the way up to Age of Ultron to actually fall in love with Don Cheadle as War Machine. Up until then, I didn't. Up until then, I just thought he was kind of boring and bland and just,
Not it too.
Number 4. Oh, man. Number 4.
Oh, man, it's the Mandarin.
Yep, it's the Mandarin. The Mandarin is so bad that it deserves its own spot this high up on the list. This is when Marvel really shit the bed. This is when they gave a director too much control. Now, Iron Man 3 is a good Shane Black movie. It's a good personal adventure film. It's a good crime drama film. It is a terrible Iron Man film because of the Mandarin. This is the worst fucking thing Marvel could have ever fucking done. Ever. You take Iron Man's biggest nemesis, hype him up. Oh man, the Mandarin's coming, and all these dark trailers like, oh shit, Tony's gonna need his match. He might die. And oh, it's just an actor. My name's Travis Slattery, and it's great, mate.
Now, granted, if you weren't like a huge fan of the comics and don't know what went on in the original story, this probably didn't bother you that bad.
No, it's a great reveal if you don't know what it is. You're like, oh, the Mandarin's just a dude. It's all a cover. It's all fake. But if you really care about these characters and the source material, and Marvel really does care about their source material, they've treated it so respectfully up until this point. This, thankfully they corrected this with the Hell to the King Marvel one-shot, which is the last Marvel one-shot they ever made, by the way, by unveiling that there is a real Mandarin and that he's hunting down Trevor Slattery, but that's about it. What I hope happens is they reveal that Ben Kingsley actually is playing the real Mandarin, and that Trevor Slattery had his face altered to look like the real Mandarin, because in the movie they do say that he had plastic surgery. Ben Kingsley was a perfect cast for the Mandarin, and they just fucked it up. So hopefully they can find a way to bring him back. Like I said, there is the plastic surgery outlet there. They said that he had plastic surgery to look like the way he did. So hopefully Marvel was planning for this all along, but in the short term right now, this was shit. And they need to be reprimanded for it.
Number 3 is Nobody Dies. Now, we kind of touched on this in the first thing on the list, about how we know they're going to make it because they have future movies. Think about it, the only character that's officially dead is Quicksilver, who just died in the latest MCU movie. You know what? He has 2 movies left in his contract. His sister's a fucking witch. He could probably come back anyway.
Yeah.
Then you have people like Nick Fury, who dies, and then comes back in the same movie, like an hour later. Like, you're just never worried about the main heroes dying.
Say, oh, don't worry, he's gonna come back, probably by the end of the credits.
I mean, what other movies or TV shows do you watch where you have absolutely no fear of the main character dying because you know what happens next?
Soap operas,
no tension.
Soap operas and wrestling. Number 2 is the Hulk and Black Widow romance from Age of Ultron. Why is this one here? Because it's fucking stupid. Why is this stupid? Because literally 2 films before this, they had such a great romance brewing between her and Captain America. You watch that movie, you're like, they got some good chemistry. They're probably gonna hook you uppy-duppy-duppy. Nope. None whatsoever. Literally the way they resolved that in Age of Ultron, Bruce Banner and Cap look at each other. Cap says, go get her. Why?
I think for me and most people watching it, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely nowhere.
No build up to it whatsoever.
At all. They were just all of a sudden in love in the beginning of Age of Ultron.
It just like, it happened completely off screen, and it's so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. Especially for people who love Winter Soldier, who like wanted that romance to go somewhere. It's why? Fuck you, Joss Whedon.
We have number 1, which is bad villains. I know we already talked about the Mandarin, but that was so bullshit it deserved its own spot on the list.
But when you think about it, there are no real villains that stand out in the MCU at all. Ultron really stands out because he's kind of funny. He's never really ultimately that menacing. He's more menacing than most villains, but right now in the MCU, Thanos hasn't done jack shit either. He's sitting in chairs and, fine, I'll do it myself. Boy!
He's literally the main villain of the MCU, and we've only seen him twice.
3 times.
But okay, 3 times if you're counting fucking post-credit sequences when he's there for just a couple seconds.
Yep.
Like, he's the main villain of the MCU, and we've hardly seen him at all. We don't know anything about him.
This ties back into number 10. They reveal shit way too early. They should not have shown Thanos at the end of the first Avengers. That was way too early of a reveal. Because it's going to be 6 years by the time they tease him until when we get him. And it's just like, every time they bring him back up, I'm like, oh, it's Thanos again. Can we just get to Infinity War?
And to me, if you put a villain as a teaser at the end of the first Avengers, to me that's common sense. He's the main villain of the second Avengers, and he wasn't in the second Avengers at all. So they just keep pushing it back till Infinity War.
No, he was in the second Avengers, but he was another fucking credit scene.
Exactly, it doesn't even count. It doesn't even count.
It's stupid. Now that we're off the Thanos rant, let's get on a couple more of those other villains because they're pretty damn forgettable. I mean, Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy, his most memorable moment in it is, what are you doing? For the dance-off. That's it. That is it. That's his most memorable sequence. Completely overacted, and not to mention utterly forgettable, just like most other villains in the MCU. People will bring up Loki, but I don't even think you can really count Loki as a villain. He doesn't really do jack shit. Even in the first Avengers movie, he does nothing. He sits on that little fucking sled, sliding, gets an arrow shot at him by Hawkeye, and that's it. He gets his shit beat out of him by the Hulk at the end. That makes Evil Omega laugh all the fucking time.
God damn it.
So yeah, Marvel, the one thing you really need to fix, bad villains, because you really need a good villain to make your film really stand the test of time. And while these films are great, while they make us feel good, the solo films really do lack with a lack of a good villain.
That was our top 10 worst things about the MCU.
Be on the lookout for our next top 10 list, the top 10 best things in the MCU. It'll come in the near future, hopefully, maybe the same day, I don't fucking know. We're lazy. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, leave a comment, and let us know what you hate about Marvel. And don't worry, we're not saying Marvel sucks, because we both fucking love Marvel to death. But they got some issues, and when you love somebody, you gotta point their issues out. Help them grow, help them get better. And
Gotta be brutally honest.
Sometimes, yes.
Gotta have constructive criticism.
Yep, well, I'm not sure what's so much constructive about the Mandarin, but...
Yeah, they deserve that.
Fuck you, Joss Whedon, for the romance. I'm a Captain America fan, you ruined it.
Again, constructive.
Fuck you, Joss Whedon.
How did that like?